Hello, how are you? How is everyone? Oh, why are you giant now? Small. Go small. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful day. How is everything? Also, I'm gonna make Twitch chat actually stay on screen permanently this time. I'm almost done setting up my my overlay. I was actually working on it just before chat today. I mean, just before today. So, yeah, it's a journey. So yeah.
New content high.
Exactly. Let's make you super small. Alright, so without further ado, we start with the adventure of the unspeakable story. Also, I will, as a favor to for like the voices, I'll set them to English just for this. So that like if there's narration and stuff, you can understand without looking at the screen. Alright. That said, here we go. Excited? The Hound of the Baskervilles. Hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Hello? Hold up. Why was there no voice acting? I restarted that on purpose. That was odd. Oh, okay. Thank you, Sasha. I appreciate the support. I too was working on Twitch stuff, and after stream, I'm still going to be working on Twitch stuff. Hopefully, I can debut my. I have a feeling it was because. Aha! I was right. Okay, there we go.
Discord stream needs the restart.
Yep.
Yeah.
来たぞ。
Eh?
ホームズの鋭い声。
I'm so bad at this. I'm sorry.
私は霧のまとわりつく拳銃の撃鉄を起こして息を潜めて待った。
No.
永遠とも思える静寂。そしてその瞬間は突然訪れた。
Oh.
霧の中から見たこともない巨大な獣が私の目の前に踊り出たのだ。それは確かに犬だった。しかし明らかに尋常ではなかった。目はこうこうと燃え上がり、猛牛ほどもある体躯に獰猛な青白い炎をまとっている。
It's a basketball dodge.
私はあまりの恐怖に震え上がった。見たまえワトソン。ホームズは魔獣を見据えて言い放った。こいつこそバスカビル家に代々語り継がれる伝説の魔剣なのだ。
Dog. Dog. Big dog. Very scary big dog. Our first 2 months in London passed by in a flash. And that disconcerting courtroom experience we were first thrown into on the day we arrived in the country, and in Soseki-san's terrible ordeal that had followed closely behind, we had emerged victorious. However... Okay, Lumi, thank you. Thank you so much. There then came an abrupt end to our opportunities to appear in court. Which is hardly surprising, of course. Since I was nothing more than an amateur, an unknown student of law from a faraway land. So life in our little office was very quiet. That is, until it was shattered one day by that fateful telegram. Oh, I thought that was a built-in. I will have to add a lurk. I will add that. Thank you. 15:13 a.m. at the Naruhodo Legal Consultancy. Who is that knocking at my chamber door? I wonder. That morning, Was woken by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. Hi! What news do you bring us today? But after he'd gone, Susato-san's behavior became very obviously strange. Susato-san? Yes! Is it time to leave for court already? Let me see. What case is it today? I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment. Am I? Oh, no, of course not. How silly of me. But I think Iris said she would make us breakfast this morning. So, shall we go down to Mr. Shums' suite? Yes! Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food. She does, doesn't she? And once our bellies are full, we can leave for court in fighting fit form! Let me see. What case is it today? Here we go again. Why are you so excited? What was in that telegram of yours? So, what was it about? The telegram that was delivered this morning, I mean. Oh, a telegram? I don't know what you're talking about. Why are you like this? Just tell the truth. Sorry, but you're not getting away with that. You're being sus. Well, I didn't think I would. Why? Why bother? Actually, don't give it a moment's thought. It's nothing. Nothing interesting. Boring, in fact. Can't spell Susato without sus. It was just a boring old telegram. It's 3 times now that you've tried and failed to convince me that it was nothing. I promise that I'll tell you about it at some point. Alright, I understand. I suppose Saseki-san will have arrived back in Japan by now, wouldn't you? Yes, I should think so. He left immediately after that terrible ordeal. Which would mean he should have completed the voyage already, or be just a few days away. A fortnight ago we had that very long telegram from him, do you remember? Complaining about seasickness? But by and large, it seems the voyage has been going well. Can't you all just see it now? Sasaki, like, posing on the board being like, I can't believe this! I'm trapped on this boat with everyone around me! This is impossible! I can't deal with this! Why? Dastardly, dubious, dangerous, deadly voyage of doom! I don't know. I couldn't think of alliteration off the top of my head. I should have said dirge of doom. Ah! Hindsight is 20/20. Oh well. Is something wrong, Naruhiro-san? I was just wondering what might have become of Saseki-san had he stayed in London, that's all. You mean as regards Lord Van Zeeks, the Reaper? Yeah, I can't help wondering if seasickness would have paled into insignificance in that case. You know, with him being dead and all. What is it they say? That no one who stands in the dock can be saved from the Reaper, right? I like the way that nightmarish trial ended on the very day we arrived in London. We got some McGilded steak. Very crispy. Well done. Even 2 months on, the cause of that dreadful fire is still a mystery. Yeah, but at least Saseki-san is safely out of the country now. Presumably that means that the curse of the Reaper can only take effect within the confines of the city of London, perhaps? Even if that's the case, it's little comfort. I have a terrible sense of foreboding. If the legend of the Reaper is to be believed, it would mean he wields the sword of justice himself. Come to think of it, I wonder what he's been up to these past few months. Surely not wielding that sword against more acquitted defendants. No, I don't think so. Apparently, Lord Van Zeeks hasn't appeared in court once since our last encounter. Oh? Yes, since Soseki-san's trial, he's withdrawn from judicial service again, it seems. Really? Just like before, when he wasn't seen in court at all for several years. So... Oh wait, still reading this guy. So, it's just been me who's had to face him in his recent spate of trials then? Ugh, just my luck. Gah. I wonder if luck doesn't come into it. Sorry? What was that? Oh, nothing. Never mind. I have a desk here now. We've only been in London for about 2 months, but my desk is starting to look a little messy already. Ooh, Tachi has a good one. Soseki sails slowly southeast, staring swollenly at skies. I think you should have said sullenly? Not swollenly? Sullenly? Soseki sails slowly southeast, staring sullenly at skies suddenly shifting, silently stewing and saddling speculations. Amazing. Great job. Good job. You could tidy up once in a while. Susato-san, I always say, making a mess is a small sacrifice if you're being able to pay for being able to further your studies. And time spent tidying up is time you can't devote to the same studying. And time spent on ridiculous arguments is time that could be better spent on some simple housework. She wins. No comeback for that. But I'm supposed to be the lawyer here. Truly, she is the most formidable judicial assistant of all. It would have been cool if she was the protagonist. I think that would have been pretty cool. Ooh, she has a... Look at her desk! It's so pretty! She has like a cherry blossom mat on the desk. That's so cool. And then look at Ionosuke's desk. This must be the telegram. Let's see. No, you mustn't look at that. Not under any circumstances. Bad, Ionosuke. Bad. Alright, I won't. Jeez, calm down. I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san, but you can be very mischievous at times. Then put the telegram away if you don't want people looking at it. Okay. Let's go for breakfast. But oh, wait, before that, I want to examine the stove. It's spring at last, and the weather is warmer now. But I love the smell of the fire and the steam rising from the kettle. Oh, would you like some tea, Naruhodo-san? Thank you, Susato-san, but I'm alright for now. With the green tea she makes me from time to time and Iris's unique herbal infusions, this place is paradise for a true tea lover. Oh, kindred spirits! I love tea too! Tea is the bestest. Green tea is such a wonderful accompaniment to British tea cakes, don't you think? Any tea. Any tea is good, but my favorite tea, I think, is either like... It's between like green tea, brown tea, and raspberry tea. I get to... Raspberry tea is rare for me, though. I need to go to the store and see if I can find it again in tea bag form. Anyway, 15th of April, and Shomes is sweet. Morning, Runa. Morning, Susie. What is this? What is this? Ugh. Ugh. Gah. What is this awful violin? Sounds like a dog is dying in the background. Good morning, Iris. Iris. What is it, Runa? What is that terrible noise? It sounds like a cat being strangled. Ah, yes. You noticed that, did you? Hurley isn't in the best form this morning, it seems. Hello. Hello, Mr. Schultz? Good morning. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk to you again. A good morning to die, perhaps. I'm sorry. Oh my god, he's too much sometimes. This face. Alright.
A rare side we get to never see.
Good morning to die. Has something happened, Mr. Schultz? You look miserable in the way you were playing the violin before. Sounds like you were trying to kill it, too. What did it ever do to you? My analytical mind is dead. Music is dead. The world is dead. God is dead. Damn this blanched existence! Why? Why are you like this? That's all it is, my dear fellow. Nothing of consequence. I'm afraid I don't understand. Well, Iris, isn't it time we ate? Some dry toast and insipid coffee for me, if it's not too much trouble. Kitty! Kitty! Oh,
I
look.
got an animated entrance.
Oh, look, it's Wakahai. Oh, as a translation note, Wakahai is like it's a very old-fashioned formal way to like refer to oneself. Like, I would expect like an old courtesan in like Edo to say Wakahai. Kind of, sort of thing. It's like very, very, very old, but additionally it has like this, like, technically it's also like male, so I wouldn't necessarily expect a courtesan to say it, but like that's kind of the impression that it gives me. But it's like a really, really old, archaic way of like referring to yourself with a bit of arrogance. So like, I don't know, like maybe a samurai or something. But like for me, like the level of like condescension it carries is something like that. Like if you think of like Daki from Demon Slayer, like she would call herself like, well, not Daki, well, because she's female, but like that kind of arrogance that she has is the kind of connotation it has of like you're looking down at who you're addressing when you're referring to yourself. Anyway, side comment over, just hope that you found that interesting. Good morning, boy. That must be some sort of tiny door for cats to use. It's so cute. But how did it get there? Obviously it was installed by someone who cares. Well then, everyone, time for breakfast. Oh, wonderful. Let me help you, Iris.
It would indeed be a fine day to die.
I'm sorry, I can't take him seriously. I knew
Have
some.
we ever?
I'm not sure how to respond to that. I knew something looked different. Something's missing from Mr. Sholmes' desk. I don't know why. This is getting me. By the way, if anyone does ever feel like this, please talk to someone about it. Actually make sure that you tell your friends, like tell people that care about you very much. So even though I'm making fun of it, it's in context with this, so please don't go off on your own and do anything. Just wanted to make sure I conveyed that. Okay. Back to being more lighthearted. You seem to be very unhappy this morning, Mr. Sholmes. What's happened?
It used to be the case that in my hands, this violin sung like the dawn chorus. Its melissonant tones would make flowers bloom.
It would?
But now, the muses are unamused.
I'm sorry. Oh, please. Oh, this is such a good case already.
But now, the muses are unamused with me. The goddesses of music have thrown me over.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
For hours I have bowed, for days even. Through the night I've endeavored, to no avail. That sound, my tone, is lost. That brilliant, clear, unwavering tone, gone forever! No more recitals of unbridled emotion!
Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, Hurley? Don't worry, I'm sure it'll come back to you in time.
Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The goddesses of the arts are fickle. One day they bestow genius on a man. The next, they unmercifully withdraw it.
Oh dear.
Why is this happening to me? If they take the turn I have from the violin from me, what is left, for pity's sake? What is left?
Your penchant for the melodramatic is left. You can go into acting. Or, maybe deduction? Isn't that what you're known for? What about the missing machine? The mysteriously missing machine moved from its usual place. Mr. Sholmes, I don't like to pry, but your desk looks rather empty today.
Well done, Mrs. Otto. Your observational skills do you credit.
Oh no, Mr. Sholmes, they pale into insignificance when compared to yours. You'd struggle not to notice, wouldn't you? Oh, you mean Hurley's great analytics scope? That's at Windybanks now. Sorry, it's at a Windy Bank? No, Windybanks, the pawnbrokery. Pawn? What? You mean
mean, you've pawned that enormous machine of yours? It has some considerable value, you see. Quite undeservingly.
But isn't it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you had consulted us if your situation had become so desperate. I should have gladly passed what little income I have to you.
Dear madam, things are far from desperate.
But the pawnbroker has your wonderful machine. How could it be anything but desperate?
Making use of a pawnbrokery is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you.
It is? It doesn't sound ordinary at all.
It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works.
Oh?
What's to understand exactly?
How does pawnbroking work? Let's learn together.
What did you mean when you said we didn't fully understand how it works? To the people of London, pawnbrokers are akin to banks.
Banks? That is not what I was expecting.
On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to their pawnbroker of choice. With the money they receive in return, they are able to trade happily through the week.
And then on Saturdays, they go to recover their things using the money they've earned. I had no idea! This has been a fascinating lesson for us. Everyone does it, you see. Especially people in London.
And should they have money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket. Not to wear, obviously, but to pawn should the need arise.
Oh, how ingenious. Big brain. Big brain mode. Nice. So, whenever we have something that's getting in the way, you see, we leave it at Windybanks.
A pawnbroker.
Am I in big brain mode? Nice.
A pawnbroker can be thought of as an extremely secure vault.
Who would have thought that even pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain? I too am used to pawning being like, you go, I don't have money, please take my thing, give me muns. Of course, you have to watch Hurley with it. Sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Hurley?
What does it matter? The world is dead to me now.
Can we have food now? Oh, hi! I can talk to Iris. Hello, cutie. How are you today? Let's talk about your kitty.
Mr. Natsume's cat seems to have settled into his new home then.
Oh, yes. And I've become very attached to little Waggy.
It would appear his previous owner is completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures. Their mews is empty as my soul.
If Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Waggy back to Japan, I wonder why I kept him here in the first place. Stretchy long cat. Yes, yes, stretchy long cat.
I expect he would have taken him if he could. But pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience.
And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passage are not obeyed. Well, I don't mind, because Waggy is adorable. Happy kitty, happy life.
Yes, he really is.
Oh, what about the door?
I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where'd that come from?
Oh, you noticed? You are observant, Bruno. What I use this. It's my latest invention.
What is that?
I call it the cat flapper mat.
That was my head hitting the desk. Iris. We need to talk. That is not a good name.
Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats? That's right. It can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. And it can do it in any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see.
Excuse me? That would break reality if that were true. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, you could make a cat flap. If you can go through steel with this, like, you can break into banks. You can break into banks through the back wall. Just make a hole through through the brick walls in the back. And then just, you know, make a set of them, like, touching each other so that they're basically, like, right next to each other. And then just flip through. Exactly. Become a cat burglar. Making doors for yourself at any point in time. Wouldn't it have been quicker just to make the cat flap rather than making a machine to make the cat flap?
Well, yes, maybe. But now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like. So there. Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door of our office upstairs, Iris.
She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl.
Angry cat.
Oh, what was that? Wagahai?
Angry cat. Very angry cat.
What was that?
Oh no! Wagahai is tangled up in your violin!
Oh no.
I think he thinks it's a toy.
No, what's he doing to it?
Oh dear, Mr. Sholmes' precious violin.
Why should I care? What? I shouldn't be surprised. If the cat is a more accomplished musician than I now.
Mr. Sholmes really is in poor spirits, isn't he? Oh, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives, shall I, Hurley?
Out of the cat's reach if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage.
That's a lot of damage! Okay, we need to feel a little more. Anything interesting over here?
Emotional, damn it!
Ping peckle.
Come to think of it, I haven't seen Iris doing much writing recently. There's paper already set up in the typewriter. Look, as if she's about to start.
That reminds me, when I mentioned that Iris was in the process of writing a full-fledged novel, Mr. Natsume was most impressed.
Ah yes, Mr. Natsume.
And that's what I will be doing too once I'm back in Japan, he said through his tightly clenched fists and teeth. I guess talk more to Iris. Oh no, Wagahai is done.
I wonder if we'll ever see what is in the letter that is stabbed to the fireplace. The fire is burning comfortably in the grate again today. It's a very different feeling to a Japanese hibachi somehow.
Oh, look at that photographic print of a lady displayed on the mantelpiece. Could it be? Yes, it must be. It's the woman. Oh, how exciting.
Is that supposed to mean something to me? Look at Mr. Sholmes' desk. It's completely clear. Isn't that enormous machine usually on it?
We can never hope to understand what goes on in the great detective's mind, Mr. Naruhodo. Why, next time we're invited, we may find he's vacated the entire suite.
That's scarily plausible, actually. What about the one goblet that's there? Also, why is there like a random skull in the middle of the bookcase? It would have been perfect had Holmes been like, to die or not to die? That is the question. Oh, ruminating, gazing into the skull.
Oh wait, was the violin over there? Oh, we can inspect the violin for damages.
So this is the violin, is it? It's a Stradivarius, one of the finest violins in the world. Made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari. Bruh, do you know how expensive these are? These are incredibly expensive instruments. I'm talking in the six-figure range. Like, at least nowadays in today's currency. These are very, very precious. This would be like your entire bank account going up in smoke and you just being like, I don't care. Oh, I see. It doesn't really look like anything special to me. I happened upon it covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down a nondescript back alley. This is also very unlikely just because they are very famed. Well, technically it's possible, but the fact that he picked one up for, like, if he actually picked it up from a pawn and, like, that pawn person wouldn't be worth their salt. Like, they would be very easy to rip off. The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings. How honorable of you! And until today, it has been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I've made. I ask you, is there reason to live in a world devoid of music, to tolerate this blanched existence? Nay! There is none! Forsake all, abandon all hope who enter here, for this place is devoid of music. Fame and fortune mean naught in the face of deprivation of the soul. ...
Mr. Sholmes?
What, dear madam, what? My thoughts are preoccupied with fancies of release from this dull routine.
Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think?
What do you mean, Miss Susato?
Is something afoot? Oh, Susie's right.
The most recent one was sold for 1.6 million.
Wow.
Yeah, like the last time I looked at them, they were high six figures. I didn't know that they'd gone up even more. Oh my god.
Wow, 1.6 million. That is insane.
And Sholmes is just like, I don't really care. Imagine having something worth that much money and having, like, a cat damage it.
They have 4 of them. Wow. Big wow. They're trying to complete the collection. I wonder how you make that much money where you're just like, I hereby drop $1.6 million on a violin. Now, give it to me. I must complete my collection. This is the 4th. I must find the rest. Oh, Susie's right. Yes, the tone of the ward is completely different. And that's not all. I'm sure there was no crack here before.
Wait, it's not even the right size, is it?
What's this? Jesus Christ. 1998? Holy crap. That instrument isn't a violin at all.
Then what?
What? You what, mate? I believe it's an entirely different instrument called a viola.
What? What?
What? His falling animation is the best.
You're right! You're quite right! This isn't my faithful Stradivarius! So what, pray, is this piece of stringed flotsam?
Not your faithful performing partner, then? Congratulations, you've gotten your violin stolen. Ah, I see what must have happened. You do, Iris? This is just a simple mix-up. Sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what's happened if we ask her. That doesn't seem like a simple mix-up. I'm willing to bet 100 to 1 that it was stolen. You don't just mix up a Stradivarius. What did you mean by a mix-up, Iris? I don't know. I don't know the conversion. Well, you see, this viola, I mean, was at Windybanks until last week. At the pawnbroker's? Not Mr. Sholmes' beloved musical partner.
There's a proverb from the East, which with you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let a beloved child travel.
Seems like he's bounced back. Yes, indeed. Is this a Leighton reference? That pose? Was that a Leighton reference?
So you sent your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers in the hope that it would experience personal growth?
Oh, what a wonderful idea.
Last week I pawned my great analytoscope in order to release my precious instrument. But it would appear Mr. Windybank mistakenly furnished me with this tawdry fiddle instead. But my ears cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of this piece of timber.
No, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings.
Pshaw, a fine state of affair this is. And why I always say, Mr. Naruhodo, never trust a pawnbroker. They will try to fiddle you every time.
Did they write this entire thing just to make that pun? Or is it going to be actually like the case is like what happened to the violin? But earlier you told us that you could think of a pawnbroker as an extremely secure vault. Thinking.
Come, Mr. Naruhodo, dilly-dallying will get you nowhere.
Sorry?
Crunching your toast with that vacant aspect, pressing your coffee so obtusely. Are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct, considering the urgency with which we are faced?
We must visit Mr. Windybank's brokery at once. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Sholmes?
Precisely, Mrs. Otto, without a moment's delay.
4 quarts to a gallon of milk so about 12 gallons of milk. You could get a Stradivarius for like 12.5 gallons of milk. Isn't that amazing? Milk. Very big milk. But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs.
My dear fellow, surely you do not still intend to crunch your bacon with an increasingly vacant aspect, to press your egg over ever more obtusely? Alright, say no more. Let's go then.
Don't worry, Bruno. I'd be happy to heat it up for you again later.
Oh, thank you, Iris. As it happens, I am rather curious to see what a British pawnbroker's looks like.
Let's move out. Baker Street, Wendy Banks Pawnbrokery. Oh, we can go back to Baker Street, too. Oh, we've never been to Baker Street, I think. Do you want to go to the street or go straight to the pawnbrokery? I wonder if they'll stop us on the way anyway. You want the detour? Yes?
Detour, yeah.
Okay.
It's already been 2 months since we started taking lodgings here above Mr. Sholmes' office. Still can't quite believe it. I never expected things would turn out like this.
Oh, I know. To actually be sharing accommodation with the world's greatest detective. If I ever find myself before a court of law now, I will have not one regret.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'd be happy to defend you, of course. There isn't very much to examine here, just these two.
And the information that the pawnbroker is just pretty much right next door.
Mm-hmm. Look at all the different things in the window of the shop.
Ah, that's Wendy Banks, the pawnbrokery.
Looks much smarter than a pawnbroker's in Japan, doesn't it?
Yes, you're right. I find pawn shops at home rather inapproachable, personally.
It reminds me of tearfully parting with my favorite fountain pen. I felt so miserable. It was my buddy. I wasn't fast enough to save it.
I'm a little spooked out. I'm writing currently right now with fountain pen.
Oh wow. What are you writing?
Just random doodles and things.
What doesn't
Like,
kill us
why is the
makes us
pawnbroker
stronger.
right next to the residence?
Yep. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger, Mr. Nodohodo.
That's it. Let's head inside.
How fascinating. A pawnbroker. Clicky, 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 click, 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 click.
15th of April at the pawnbrokery. So this is a British pawnbrokery. What are the odds that if we go in the back we'll find a corpse?
Oh my! There are all sorts of tools and contraptions in here that I've never laid eyes on before. Amazing!
Ah, Susato-san, and that spark of wonder in your eyes. You can't wait to scour the shelves, can ya? I get the impression you enjoy places like this.
Oh yes, I don't know why, but seeing such a lot of things I don't understand is a real thrill for me. So exciting, isn't it?
My dear fellows, let us not forget why we are here.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes.
We are calling on matters of business, not pleasure. And clearly Mr. Sholmes means business too, judging from the spark of fury in his eyes.
Ah, Mr. Sholmes, sir. Welcome back.
Did you hear that brazen welcome? Well, yes, we are potential customers after all. We are disgruntled customers, Mr. Naruhodo, and it's time to inform Mr. Windibank of our ire. Come! The fight is afoot!
Violin.
Naturally, you will recall this, which I retrieved from you some days ago. Yes? This second-rate fiddle is not my faithful instrument, Mr. Windibank. The color of the wood is different. It has holes in it. It's not even the same size.
A wonderful summary of our observations, Mr. Sholmes.
I'm so very sorry, sir. How utterly unforgivable of me. An inexcusable mistake for a pawnbroker. There's only one way to make amends. I shall have to take my own life! What is with everyone wanting to die in this case? What is with this? I don't think that will be necessary to you. Dissonant serenity. If I may just say one thing before I pop. Popping off. I'm dabbing, popping off. Freezing. Yes? And Sholmes is just like, okay. It was you, sir, Mr. Sholmes, who took it upon himself to remove the item the other day, I believe. Sorry? How did you not notice at the time, basically? And again, we find the situation funny, not the act itself. Disclaimer. As I recall, I entered the storeroom to fetch your violin when I heard, here it is! You did? And when I turned to controvert you, you'd taken the viola and left, sir. However, there can be no doubt that the blame lies firmly at my own door for allowing you to leave. So I not shall grumble or grouse any longer. May this guilt die with me. No, stop, my dear fellow, the fault is mine. Oops, I misread. Phew. It would appear that the fight is over. I do humbly apologize, Mr. Windybank. Evidently my questionable disposition precipitated this tragedy. Well, you wouldn't be Mr. Herlock Sholmes without that questionable disposition now, would you? I do believe you might be right, sir. It's either laugh or cry, I suppose. You are, it must be said, one of my more challenging customers. I needn't remind you of the peculiar collection of items you've brought through my door in the past.
Oh, peculiar items?
In the extreme, ma'am. For example, the unpublished manuscript of an eponymous work, the novels of Herlock Sholmes or some such.
Oh my, a new, fully fledged novel? And unpublished? A story I read to me? Forgive me. Wait, before you die, you must tell me more. Wow, she's just like, I don't care about you. Please, give me more info on the story. A likely story. I must know more. Tell me everything. Wow, Suzato-san is really fired up now. Is there really an unpublished story under this very roof?
Well, one day the gentleman here brought in an old metal chest, you see. I should like to entrust this to your care for a while, Mr. Windybank. Or a chest like that one. 1 shilling, sir, not a farthing more. It houses something of very great value indeed. The latest manuscript, recounting the adventures of one Mr. Herlock Sholmes. I beg your pardon? A manuscript? You wish to deposit a manuscript? Indeed I do, for I am confident it will be quite safe here. And that was that. As such, Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom.
Mr. Sholmes, is that really true? Do I sense that someone doesn't want to talk about this?
I continue to pay your fee, do I not? Then kindly continue to store my belongings. Securely. Of course, sir. Of course. They're safe and sound with me, I assure you. On my life.
This is all very, very strange. So, what do you do here, anyway? Could I ask you?
Ah, a gentleman from the East, I see. Yes, that sable suit. I suppose I could offer you 6 pence for it.
Wow, he's like, I'll give you 6 pennies for your clothing.
Without wishing to offend, the tone is somewhat dull.
Sorry?
Ah, but for your splendid attire, ma'am, 5 guineas, no less. The colours are exquisite, the design exotic. Eastern artistry at its finest, may I say.
Oh my! 5 guineas, you say? How interesting. Why do I feel as though I've suffered some sort of defeat here? Because you have been defeated. Susato's smugness. Actually, I was hoping to ask you about your business. I've heard it said the pawnbrokers are used rather like banks here in London.
Yes, sir, indeed. Many of my customers utilize the establishment as you describe. I appraise their items and offer them a proportionate loan and 2 months of secure storage. If, in that time, they repay the original sum to me plus the great interest, their items are happily returned.
Wow. He offered Naruhodo 6 pence for his outfit and offered Susato-san 120 pence for hers? No, wait. Hold on. Oh wait, no. It's 5 guineas is 100 shillings, which is 1,200 pence. Oh dang. That's even more of a crushing defeat than I expected.
Ma'am, I'll give you 1,200 pence for your outfit. You, and the drab, dull shirt, 6 pence. It's rather unfitting. Yes. A little dull.
But what happens if they don't pay you the money?
Then the items are offered for sale in my shop, as you can see on the shelves behind me.
So you never sell items before the 2 months has passed then?
That's right, ma'am, that's right. Which means some considerable responsibility rests on my shoulders. Should a customer's precious belongings be lost, the only recompense is for me to end it all.
No, just sell stuff and then pay them back. Though if it's an irreplaceable thing, that gets into very hectic situations.
The very idea, Mr. Winterbank, is an absurdity.
Wait, sorry?
One should never talk of one's demise so casually.
Agreed, thank you. Finally, someone talks sense in this. Says the man who was telling it all it was a good day to die only this morning. Yes, but let's ignore his hypocrisy for a moment, shall we?
And let us not forget that I have already helped you take measures to ensure such a tragedy never occurs.
Oh, what sort of measures?
I engineered a simple device which Mr. Winterbank has installed here in his shop. I call it the Red-Handed Recorder. Is that not so, Mr. Winterbank?
What was that deep sigh about? What on earth is a red-handed recorder?
Use your eyes, my dear fellow. They're just 2 below the ceiling.
I can see what appears to be a camera attached to some sort of timing device.
Very astute. It is indeed a camera furnished with some 100 pieces of celluloid film. And every 30 minutes precisely, the camera automatically records the appearance of the shop. Here, I have an example I can show you.
4 in the morning.
Ah yes, a print from the camera set to record the activity at the shop counter. I developed a special type of film so sensitive it produces a crystal clear image even in the darkness.
Really? That's extraordinary. Actually. Like, if it's not the camera itself and it's the film, that's actually an amazing invention. Militaries all over the world would be, like, super on top of this. To get a picture this clear in the dark, like, in the middle of the night at 4 in the morning without using a flash? Yeah. Yes, you can clearly see the counter and the door behind it. Look. So did I. I'm very surprised that he actually invented something, and that not only was it something that A, it worked as intended, and B, it's this complicated.
So you see, were someone to enter the premises with ill intent, their identity would be summarily exposed.
But did you not say that the photographic prints were taken at 30-minute intervals?
Indeed, as you say, my dear madam.
Okay, see you when you get back. Then what if the incident were to occur in between times?
One could only say. That would be a cruel twist of fate! I must confess, your devices have been giving me some cause for distress as of late. I beg your pardon, Mr. Winterbank. Surely they are anything but distressing. Reassuring is the word.
Why am I, like, messing up all the accents today?
It's the cost of the film, sir. You most graciously placed not one but 2 cameras in my shop, after all. Which means I must pay for nigh on 100 utterly useless prints every single day. I'm afraid the cost of the film will break me before I'm very much older. Nevertheless, a small price to ensure the safety of my preferred pawnbrokery, no? My dear fellows, we verge on an age where safety and security come at a price. Oh, heaven help us. Now then, Mr. Shelby,
Excuse me.
allow me to return your precious violin. Ah, the very thing. Thank you, Mr. Winterbank. Perhaps this might mark the end of the peculiar items you try to pop, Because if anything were to happen to one of them, this would be the only answer.
Please, stop doing that. I really think you ought to stop waving that gun around. Someone could get hurt, particularly you.
Fear not!
Sorry?
I've only loaded a single bullet, so no one but myself could possibly be harmed.
This case is really uncomfy. That's not really what I meant.
Good day to you then, Mr. Winterbank. It's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Sholmes.
This is very deep thinking thoughts. So, Mr. Naruhodo, now we can explore at last.
First thing I want to do,
explore behind the counter. There seems to be a little door hidden behind that curtain there.
And that leads to the storage room, where Mr. Winterbank keeps articles that are currently in pawn.
Ah, I see.
There's nothing of particular interest inside. I certainly would recommend any loss in this activity.
Recommended or not, it's not something I tend to do.
There is but one key, and Mr. Winterbank keeps it in his pocket at all times. Before he sleeps, he places it into a small pot which he slides under his pillow. How on earth do you know about that, Mr. Sholmes? I am a detective, sir. It is my business to know what others do not. I am frequently assailed by information that I neither care for nor wish to retain.
Mr. Sholmes, you are a wonder.
And the prime suspect if this pawnbroker is ever burgled.
Look at this! What could this lovely big shiny box be?
That, my dear madam, is a music box. Surely you have such things in your own country?
Oh my. Yes, but I've never certainly seen one so large before. It's so big, Sholmes.
Shall we listen a while?
Oh, that's pretty. Ah, what a sublime sound. It's like the music of angels.
Never heard anything like it before in my life. This particular specimen is of the larger variety commonly found in public houses and restaurants. There is a metal disc inside on which the notes to be played are recorded. Simply by replacing the disc with another, any music you care to imagine can be played.
My goodness, what a simply delightful machine!
Susato is very excitable today. Indeed, although their popularity has waned recently with the development of the gramophone, of course.
Silence and technology advance at such an overwhelming pace. Gah. Gah.
So many knickknacks.
What an assortment of things there are on these shelves here. Crockery, footwear, clocks, and watches. Almost anything you care to imagine. Oh, that reminds me. Let me save real quick. Because I need to go back to the title. Wait, I just saved, it's fine. Because I said I was going to change the voices to English for everyone. There. Okay. Crockery, footwear, clocks, and watches. Almost anything you care to imagine.
Those are forfeited items offered by sale for the pawnbroker. What does that really mean, though? When you pawn or colloquially pop an item, the broker loans you money against its worth. He stores the item for an agreed period of time after which the loan must be repaid. If not, he is free to display it in a shop for sale at a price of his choosing. Oh yes, now you've explained it, I'm noticing little price tags on everything. Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest on the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. So you may pawn that black garb of yours without fear, my dear fellow. My treasured university uniform? Never! It embodies my student spirit!
Oh, orange thingy. Now what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does?
It seems to have two little windows for looking through. Allow me to enlighten you, my dear fellows. What you're looking at is a stereoscope.
A stereoscope? Fascinating!
It is aptly named, I assure you. Look through the eyepieces and see for yourself.
Oh, I should be delighted to! Excuse me for a moment, just while I have a look.
And just before you do, there is something I should point out. My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly, stereoscopically as it were, you will need to be cross-eyed. However, if that is beyond you, it is of little consequence today.
Alright then, I'm going to try it. Mr. Naruto, you have to see this at once!
Alright then. So I need to be cross-eyed, like I'm trying to look at my own nose. I don't believe it. It's just a photographic print, but it seems like you could reach out and touch it. Yes, the sense of death is startling, is it not? Stereoscopes are one of London's many fads. They're often found in little stalls in the park. People queue for hours to see them.
Why? Why are people meddling with such black magic?
It is no magic, my dear madam. It is, well, science. Far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day.
Aww. Wait, can I see the image again? I want to see if you can actually like, go step. I want to see if you can do it with your own vision and go cross-eyed and see if it actually works. I'll try. I want to try too. Let's try together. Ugh. I'm trying, but... Ugh. Maybe I'm too far away, or too close. Oh, that's cool. I can only do it for like a split second, but it's kind of cool. It's actually really cool. It's easier to do with like a focus in the middle. Like you get close and then you can like go cross-eyed by like focusing on something. Like if you look really carefully at the divide in the middle. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you need to be closer to it. I was too far away to do it, like, consistently. Every time I would, like, I would go cross-eyed, look up at it, and then, like, I would go back to focusing on it because it was too far away. But I could see it, like, in the split second when I was cross-eyed. Oh, why is this interesting? That's not a calendar you could easily miss, is it? Also, welcome back. 15th of April, today's date.
Yes, that's not for sale, I must point out. It is an Eastern style page-a-day calendar. Every night at midnight, I tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date. The perfect calendar for a tearaway fellow such as yourself, Mr. Windybank. And who was it who walked out of here with the wrong violin before? Well, when the agreed storage period is passed without repayment, articles are forfeited, you see. So I have to keep a close eye on the date. It's something of a pawnbroker's obsession, you might say.
Oh yes, I can see you're very dedicated to your job. Let's talk to Mr. Look at that enormous ledger on the counter there.
Mr. Windybank is, if nothing else, very particular about recording the items he accepts. He'd have to be, otherwise he'd get himself into all sorts of trouble. Which might explain the thing that catches my eye far more than the ledger. This revolver here. Why do I have a feeling this guy is actually going to end up dead and, like, someone is going to get accused of it and, like, defending them is going to be the case? Do not entertain even a single thought of pilfering an article herein, my dear fellow. I assure you, Mr. Bank would not hesitate to draw that weapon with a speed belying his portly size.
Oh? You don't mean he'd...
Blow his brains out, indeed, in recompense for his blunder.
I thought he would, you know, shoot the person stealing it rather than shoot himself. Oh my. But in any case, of course we would never do such a thing. How could you even suggest it? I was trying to talk to him, but it seems like we're done talking to him. Well, I guess we got the violin back, so we really don't need to do anything else here. Oh, apparently no, we're not done yet. What are we missing? Oh, this. Look at this! Whatever could it be used for? I have no idea. Ah. 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 There's a small catch just here, look. We're going to open it, aren't we? Oh my, that's amazing! That's some sort of spring-loaded mechanism. Which we'll never manage to put back the way it was before. What are you two doing? What? Us? Nothing. No, nothing at all. Walking the Green Mile here, boss. Just, looking at the Green Mile. Sniffing the Green Mile. Whatever this device is, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. I feel as though I've seen something rather similar to this elsewhere. What? Only tuppence for it? I ain't fair and you know it. All colours barely worth a penny, miss. I cannot offer more. Sounds like there's an argument brewing over by the counter. Come on, that can't be right. And you haven't even brought a proper butcher's at it.
I've seen all I need to see, young girl.
I was right, it is Gina Lestrade. Wait, don't we know... I'm sure I recognize her. Oh yes, it's the young lady from Mr. McGillet's trial 2 months ago. Is this better? Or is this now, like, too soft?
Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She is a chancer. Earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket.
Gordon Bennett, you lot! Hello, Miss Lestrade. I hope you've been well. Eh? What? You remember me then, do you?
Well, I remember being completely surrounded by smoke, that's for sure.
So, what are you doing in here? Down and out like the rest of us? Nothing to eat? Come to pop that black weasel. Sorry, coat, have ya?
What is it about this black uniform that makes everyone comment on it? And Suzata's just like... Oh, good day, unless I'm much mistaken. You'll be the young pickpocket who stole our experimental smoke grenade launcher.
Mr. Sholmes?
So, you have something of value to pawn, do you? Allow me to see the article and I shall negotiate with Mr. Mendebing on your behalf.
Pull the other one. I don't need no help from some stuck-up stay. Get out of my business. Go on, or I'll make trouble for you.
As you wish, Miss Lestrade. I will happily remove myself from your presence. He's really done it. He's gone. Literally just walked out. Look, as I said, there really is no room for negotiation here.
What is that thing he has in his hand? Some kind of metal disc? And you, go on, leave me alone. Oh, Miss Lestrade, just pretend we aren't here. We shan't be offended in the slightest. Exalta-san can really stand her ground when she wants to. Wow. Whatever. Somehow, I didn't really think you were the sort of person who'd use a pawnbroker, Miss Lestrade. Yeah, well, I am alright. I'm a Londoner just like everyone else. That a problem, is it? No, not at all. It's just that, well... Oh, I'll get it. I know what you're thinking. That thing probably don't even belong to her. Probably got it on the dive, didn't she? Yeah, I can see it written all over your Chevy Chase. Well, I might have been thinking something along those lines. You're not going to deny it, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay, what about now? Hold on, let me do a thingy. Better or worse? I think this is probably worse, but... Hi, Yuki! How are you? You said ouch? What happened? Are you sore from Wing Fit? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know why it's doing this. Like, I was testing a bunch of stuff before, and it seems like it was fine before. Alright then, I'm just gonna come out and ask you straight. Do you pawn things that you steal from other people? Well, I don't know how best to answer that, really. Suppose. Sometimes. You're not going to deny it either, Miss Lestrade. Is it better now? I'm looking at the meter and it doesn't seem to be picking up anything else now. But not this time, alright? I swear, that thing belongs to me! The disc that Mr. Windybank is holding. Perhaps we should see what he has to say about all this. Miss Lestrade's disc. Okay, I just unmuted it. I muted it and then unmuted it. Mr. Windybank, what exactly is this metal disc that Miss Lestrade has brought in? It seems to have hundreds of tiny little bumps on its surface. Hold on, I'm gonna mute it right now. Let me see if you can figure out what it is. Hold on, I'm gonna mute. I was muted that whole time. Did you hear anything?
This is a music disc, you see, for use inside a music box.
In a music box? Oh, you didn't even know what a music box is? You Easternlord ain't too savvy, eh? I know what a music box is, I've just never seen one of these discs before.
The small protrusions on the metal disc encode the tune to be played by the music box. You simply insert the disc and set the machine going, and beautiful music plays.
It's so incredible. Tell us, what tune is on this disc?
Well, I'm afraid I couldn't tell you that. There's so many different types of music box, you see. British made, German, Swiss. I have no way of knowing which particular machine this disc was made for.
But, like, it's happening even, like, it's not coming from my mic. I've checked my levels, I've checked a bunch of stuff, and I don't know, like, where is it coming from then? Like, the only thing I could think of would be, like, it would be my fan, but you said it was being picked up while I muted, and I've checked 3 different, like, I checked my monitor on my analog, I've checked my monitor on my mic, on my OBS, and neither of them is showing anything. Like, the only thing is I have gain on my mic. Like, extra gain in OBS, but that's about it. Huh? What about now? Any better? I don't know. Because I'm not doing anything that would be making noises. I don't know. That's so weird. Yeah, I don't know. Ah, I see.
And that's it in a nutshell. I wouldn't have any customers for an item like this, even if the young lady forfeited it. Really, I'm already offering more than I should at a penny.
That's a packet of lies. He told me that. He says it was well. He? Oh, he? Who? Never you
And
mind.
remember,
It just ain't right, that's all. At this worth of
hydrate
money. I know it
or
is.
die.
Thank you, Ronnie. あら、ストレッチしなきゃわ。はい、ストレッチダンスだね。はい。にゃんにゃんにゃんにゃん。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4。はい。おい。5位。And I'll mute while I drink. Thank you so much. That was a good stretch and stuff. Okay then. Now that we're back at it. So how about now? Is this better?
Well then, you'll have to try your luck at another pawnbroker's, won't you?
Yeah. Gina Lestrade.
She's been in before, of course, this little tatterdemalion.
I see.
And bought some dubious article author with her every single time, I might add.
Dubious? What are you trying to say? I'm an honest customer, me. So, is there something dubious about the disc she brought in today?
Well, if only it were that simple.
Sorry, what do you mean?
What she actually brought in was a storage ticket.
Ah, a storage ticket, so... Miss Lestrade has actually come to redeem an article from you today, is that right? Yeah, that's right. A girl like me has a lot of stuff what needs storing. Alright, yes, that's definitely dubious. Miss Pickpocket.
The article in question would have been forfeited at midnight tonight. But she gave me the ticket for it and repaid both the loan and the interest. I was obliged to return the article to her.
But what was the article? Do tell us, Mr. Windybank.
The little scamp is wearing it, ma'am. It's the overcoat that she redeemed.
Oh. What's wrong with that? It fits, doesn't it? I mean, it's mine, so of course it does. So what about the disc then? How does that come into all this?
Ah, the disc is something else. A new article to pawn if the girl and I can agree a price.
I'm confused. I thought you said that Miss Lestrade brought in a storage ticket today.
It's really quite simple. Yes, the child brought me a storage ticket and then money owed on it, as you say.
For this heavy black coat which you returned to her care, as I'd understood it.
That's right, yes. And rather unsurprisingly, as soon as the little ragamuffin put the thing on, she went rifling through the pockets.
Oh, you mean... What? You know it's rude to stare at a lady. Ah, I see. So it came from the pocket of the overcoat, did it?
If you mean this disc, then yes, exactly, ma'am.
And she immediately tried to pawn it. For quite a high price as well. This is really suspicious. Give it up. I'm just trying to pawn something like anyone else would. Miss Lestrade, may I ask who deposited the overcoat here in the first place? Well, me. It doesn't really appear to be your size. Me old man, it's me old man's, ain't it? Is it, Miss Lestrade? Yes, this is definitely super sus. Out of my way, please. Who is this? Oh, he's a JoJo character! Who is this picture postcard English gentleman? Look, he's literally a JoJo character.
10 stars!
Good day to you, ladies and gentlemen.
What's your problem, eh?
There is no problem as long as you remove yourself. I have a matter to discuss with the proprietor. And if you intend to make a problem of it, I shall see you outside, little girl, for the hiding you deserve.
Look, ain't it obvious? I ain't done talking with him yet. You think you're such a gent, you should know how to wait in line.
Well, you are an impudent little brat, aren't you? As well as a pickpocket.
Eh? Who are you? How do you know who I am?
The question is, how do you not know who I am? You haven't the courtesy even to remember the faces of your victims, it seems.
What? You mean from you?
Broker? Yes, sir? I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no? Yes, The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once.
Oh my. Now that's a lie. What What are you trying to pull?
Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. And needless to say, any music box discs too.
No, you can't have it. You just can't. It's me old man's. Or it was. Now it's mine. Goodness, Mr. Naruhodo. This is a very awkward situation. Yep. I think perhaps we should hear both sides of the story in a little more detail. Converse. Gentleman's accusation. Miss Lestrade is what the gentleman is saying. What do you think? It's all lies, isn't it? Obviously. I swear on my life, I ain't never laid eyes on that dandy before. He's suspicious, susceptibly sustaining suspense.
It's his now, you little ragamuffin. You stole it, didn't you? That ticket you brought in here just now.
No, I swear to God.
It was barely an hour ago. I was walking along on the street, minding my own business, when this little guttling ran into me. I knew at once what had happened. I've been robbed yet again, I thought to myself. Those wretched pickpockets. Yet again? Oh yes. As you can see, I am a man of impeccable style. This isn't the first time that I've been targeted by these back-slum scoundrels. Now then, relinquish my overcoat before I summon my stand.
Do you think his voice fits, or should I try a different one?
Come along now, Miss Lestrade. Give the good gentleman his coat back. If you're going to cause trouble, I shall have no choice but to call the police.
Hold on. Why everyone's think it's me? Just look at this dandy cove, and you think I'm the dodgy one?
I'm sorry, but no one's going to believe you.
Well, what about evidence? Yeah. Where's your evidence that I've stolen something, eh? Come on, let's see it.
Oh, I have evidence, naturally.
You what? Evidence.
Evidence that the article Miss Lestrade redeemed actually belongs to this gentleman?
Of course, we need only consult Mr. Windybank's ledger to know the truth. We'll be able to look up the name of the person who deposited the article in the first place.
Yes! Brilliant! I'm very sorry, but I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Oh?
I never ask customers' names. That's a strict policy of mine.
But why not? Also, wouldn't you know if she was the one who deposited it or not?
Well now, as you can imagine, some of my customers have circumstances to consider. A great many of them prefer to maintain their anonymity.
Yes, I see. But then how can you know if an article belongs to the person asking to redeem it?
Oh, it's quite simple. Good sir, might I trouble you for the watchword associated with the article in question? Of course, it's Professor. Yes, that's right. And all the evidence we need. This gentleman is the rightful owner of the article, without doubt.
A watchword? Interesting. So, about these watchwords, Mr. Windybank?
As I just explained, I never ask customers' names when they deposit items with me. There are many reasons why. Certain customers would like to keep their activities secret.
That wasn't exactly a subtle glance at Mr. Sholmes now, was it? Great detectives have no dark secrets. None at all. Dastardly man's dark secrets are held in the dismal depths of a deadly dungeon.
Yes, well, anyway, that's why I always ask for a watchword whenever I accept a new article. In many ways, it's like the secret combination of numbers used to unlock a vault. The date of deposit, a description, and a watchword uniquely identify each item. And of course, then I give the storage ticket to the customer. When someone comes to redeem something, I ask for the ticket and the watchword.
If that someone tells you the correct watchword, you return the article?
That's right, sir, yes. Just as soon as the requisite fee is paid. And I have supplied you with the information you require already. But for the avoidance of doubt, the article in question is an overcoat deposited 2 months ago on the 15th of February. With a watchword of Professor. All perfectly correct information, sir.
But how?
Really, this is beyond a joke now. There's no further room for doubt.
Gah. We still don't have this person's name. Excuse me, but who are you? Okay, he hasn't said that.
One would expect the inquirer to introduce himself first. Though clearly you are not British, so perhaps our ways are foreign to you.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we're from the Empire of Japan. Just studying here.
Oh yes, Japan. I've heard talk of the place.
What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Okay, this guy's 100% a JoJo reference. Thank you, Tachi. Thanks for the like.
Its inhabitants live on some fiery brown-colored soup, dressed up with exotic spices.
You might be thinking of somewhere else. And what was that theatrical gesticulation about?
Perhaps. Anyway, if you are a gentleman, sir, you offer your own name first before inquiring after the name of another.
Of course, yes. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a lawyer. Well, student of law, really. Greetings. My name is Susato Mikotoba. I am Mr. Naruhodo's assistant.
I see. My name is Benedict. Yes, Eggert Benedict.
How old is he? Oh, he hasn't shown up yet.
Enchante.
Oh, his hair is different. And we don't know how old he is. He's so refined in how he holds himself and how he speaks, but that name is sus. Dun 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 dun.
Now, to the matter at hand. My overcoat! Return it at once! To someone with the style to carry it off.
Every move he makes, every breath he takes. I can't stand watching him. And I won't be missing him.
So, let that be an end to the matter. And thank you for your custom, Mr. Eggert Benedict, sir. Oh. With such reasonable rates of interest, I may even decide to come back.
I don't know why I'm like giving him this like. I'm thinking of a specific JoJo character and kind of like giving him the voice that I think that character would have. This is why I hate grown-ups. Just because I'm a diver, everyone thinks that makes me a liar.
And the contents of the coat pockets, if you please, Broker. But of course, sir, here is the disc for you. Just this one? Pardon, sir? I was expecting another. That is, I deposited another.
Oh, so he didn't actually deposit it. Another disc.
Oh dear. I regret to inform you, sir, that was what was deposited with me was merely the overcoat. The disc happened to be in one of the pockets, but I was completely unaware of it until now. So, Gutling, you're hiding more of what's rightfully mine, aren't you?
Says it anyway. I don't know nothing about it.
Very well. Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style.
Wait a minute. That disc is mine. Yoink.
Oh, what do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal.
Oh my. Yes, there's blood on the disc. It's because of all those sharp little bumps. The man must have scratched his finger on them. I found it first, alright? I mean, it belonged to me old man. So you're not having it. Or you take it. Me? If I hang on to it, I'll have it off me again. So you keep hold of it. Mr. Lestrade, why is this disc so important to you? The music box disc has been entered into the court record.
You there, in the Black Library. Hand that disc to me at once, please.
No, don't! He's lying! Grown-ups are all liars! Ugh, what do I do now? How am I gonna resolve this? Just run away. Mr. Windybank is clearly at a loss. We have to do something about this before he reaches for that revolver of his. Wow, Miss Lestrade is really looking daggers at the mysterious gentleman. We need to do something to calm things down before she loses control and attacks him again. Look at those piercing eyes. He's clearly in no mood to talk. We have to do something for you before he leaves to fetch the police or something. Can we put it in here? Look at Mr. Windybank watching diligently over his shop. There's so many things I'm curious about. Somehow I don't feel this is the time to be browsing. Calming this fraught situation must be our first priority. I'm fairly certain that we can find just the great thing we need among the articles here in this shop. Oh, I was wondering if we could run over and just put it in the thing. Okay, Sholmes, you take it. Mr. Sholmes, what are you examining with such keen interest there? As you enjoy a bar of caramel, I see? I'm also curious.
So, you found me at last, Mr. Naruhodo.
Sorry?
After that young pickpocket sent me on my way, I was forced to lurk in the shadows, cruelly ostracized, as the rest of you partook in the jovial atmosphere of fellowship. I had nothing to occupy my mind, but was too ashamed to let society see what my downfall had done to me. So, feigning mock interest, I pretended to examine the tedious trinkets in this desolate place. Whilst, as you shrewdly observed, knowing I'm the only friend I have left, this 7% solution of caramel.
Sholmes is caramel squared.
Pray, do you claim to understand the depths of my despair, Mr. Naruhodo? No, how could you? I was so lonely, so desperately lonely.
Then why on earth didn't you just rejoin the conversation? Things have gone from bad to worse here, you know?
Yes, I overheard much of your conversation. Or rather, in my craving for human contact, my ears devoured every word that was uttered.
You really were sad, weren't you? Poor Mr. Sholmes. I feel simply awful for you.
It would seem that my inferences are correct.
Oh, surely you're not about to tell us that you've solved the entire case once again?
My dear madam, sometimes I wonder, were my genius for deduction to be commoditized? How much could I pawn it for?
Seems Mr. Sholmes has had another of his flashes of inspiration, but who knows if it'll help to resolve the situation between Miss Lestrade and the mysterious gentleman. What's the right thing to do here? I'm gonna say leave it. I want to see if I just make him depressed again by doing that. I don't know. If Mr. Sholmes stops with one of his wild, rambling deductions now, it could just fan the flames of this argument. It would be sensible to try something else. Mr. Naruhodo, what are you saying? The great detective has made one of his great deductions! He's sure to cut straight to the heart of the matter! That's what I'm worried about. We don't need any more cuts around here.
Dear me, you seem decidedly agitated. Clearly, I shall have to take a rest.
Yes, please do, Mr. Sholmes.
Looks like we're gonna hear this deduction whether I like it or not. Oh, Miss Lestrade, it appears you find yourself in something of a predicament.
Where in the blue blazes have you been, eh?
Pardon?
When lazy in trouble, a true gent's supposed to be there to help. Straight away, not an hour later.
Harsh, but you were the one who sent him away. And who, pray tell, are you?
I just realized their voices are pretty similar. I need to give the JoJo character a more distinct one.
Mr. Eggert Benedict, you have, in my eyes, a veritably encyclopedic array of curiosities about your person. Nevertheless, there are two immovable conclusions I have drawn. I beg your pardon. The first is this. The true reason for your visit for this pawnbroker today is something you have not yet revealed. And the second is this. Considerable crime is in contemplation, one you will orchestrate with intent to steal a vast sum of money. Well, Mr. Benedict, what say you to my deductions?
How? He's turned as white as a hard-boiled egg. One egg, no? One egg, no? It would seem that once again, Mr. Sholmes has made a flawless deduction.
Just who do you think you are, sir? Ah, yes, as I hoped. And that is precisely the pained expression I was looking for. Let me bask in your misery. Yes. So, shall we begin? The time has come for yet another Sherlock Holmes logic and reasoning spectacular.
The great deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Mystery Man's aim.
First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business you've entered to this pawnbrokery today. You claim to have followed this pickpocket here, having had the redemption ticket stolen from you on the street. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different, as revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you to the shop in the first place is the staff recruitment flyer. The piece of paper in your hand is a staff wanted advertisement from this very shop. Yet even the most unobservant will soon realize that a man of your appearance has no need of such employ. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane, which you unwittingly clutch to your person, exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. What utter rot! I've had this cane for years. The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the missing federal.
No, it's AG on the cane. That ain't your name. At least as you. The end of a new walking cane should be terminated with a metal ferrule to protect the wooden tip, or rubber. And yet, detailed analysis shows the wooden tip of the stick to be
Utterly bare.
Therefore, there's only one conclusion. The rod that you hold in your hand, which appears to be a walking cane, is in fact no cane at all.
You recoil, sir. Is something wrong?
And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer to the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. From the moment I saw it, my suspicions were aroused. What walking cane is the main such a stout handle? Mused I. But of course, as I said, this is no walking cane. No, that rod is the broken handle of a shovel! What? Are you insane? And now, having determined this undeniable truth, the conclusion is clear. Your true motive for coming here was to take employment at this establishment in order to excavate the ground beneath the premises. How? What? My head hurts just thinking of the logic. I mean, yes, he just gave us the logic, but the leaps. This breaks my head. Why are you like this? Why are you like this? This is unconscionable. What a calculated crime you've come up with, decide you wicked crime. The mystery man's aim, conclusion, to tunnel under the pawnbrokery. Second topic, the great crime. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. We must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in the planning.
This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, intend to excavate the ground beneath this pawnbrokery with a broken shovel? What on earth do you propose I could expect to find there?
Some long-forgotten treasure, I suppose. Save for fanciful theory, what possible reason could I have to do as you say?
Oh, but there is ample reason.
As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, and your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. You what? Let us consider what would motivate a man to infiltrate a shop such as this, and subsequently covertly dig beneath its floor. The answer is revealed by the council notice on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. This letter gives notice of public works to be carried out in the local area. According to the enclosed plan of the upcoming sewage works, beneath the shops runs a sewer that adjoins another, one that runs under the bank on the opposite side of the road. This madness has entered the sewers now, has it? By excavating the ground beneath our feet, you would gain access to the waterway. It flows in very close proximity to the Great Vault of the financial institution opposite. What are you?
In summary, sir, you devised a master plan to pull off an elaborate bank robbery by dint of the underground tunnels. Master plan? Which brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. With what plunder did the thief hope to make off from the underground vault of the bank? Are you quite serious? Having consulted with Scotland Yard some days ago, I happen to know the answer. But naturally, the answer is no secret to you, is it, Mr. Benedict? I've no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, this picture postcard tells us all we need to know. Postcard of the Great Exhibition? I'm afraid you've quite lost me. Currently in the final stages of preparation, the Great Exhibition will soon be underway. The government has provided extra funds to complete its centerpiece, the Crystal Tower. Funds that currently sit in the vault of the bank, on the other side of this road. Pardon? Yes, the considerable crime you have been contemplating is the theft of that which sits in the vault of the bank, the special reserve funds for the Great Exhibition. Of course, that is top secret police information, so keep it under your hat, please.
Steal the Great Exhibition's reserve funds.
Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this pawnbroking puzzle. Mr. Sholmes. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, an impressively upbeat deduction for a detective racked with loneliness, would you not agree? Was it true what you said about the bank over the road and what it has in its vault? Indeed, though few know of its existence, it is one of the government's most closely guarded secrets. Gregson told me, in the strictest of confidences.
Which you simply betrayed just now? But you just announced it to everyone here. Rather loudly, in fact. Ah! 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 And if it's such a big secret, how would Mr. Benedict have come to find out about it?
There can be one explanation for that. Clearly it is because the man is a criminal.
But what if he didn't know anything about the money in the vault? If he is a criminal, as you said, then buying a brand new shovel is sure to be the first thing he does now that you've revealed the secret. Ah! Oh. Or if he doesn't, maybe Mr. Windybank will. He already has plenty of shovels here after all.
On my life, I assure you, I'm not so unscrupulous. Well, hopefully this has taught you all a valuable lesson. Sensitive information must be handled with the utmost of care. One can never be sure that someone privy to secrets won't disclose them, and once the word is out, it is out.
Perhaps I'll think twice before confiding in you next time, Mr. Sholmes.
An excellent idea, Mr. Naruhodo. An excellent idea.
Ha ha ha! I got a hiccup. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo. You know what to do, I'm sure. Yes, let's go listen to that great deduction again and see if we can massage it into shape.
Very well then, let us start once more from the beginning. Herlock Sholmes is magnificent. Logic and reasoning spectacular.
I'm drunk now, oh no.
First of all, we must inquire as to why you got here before. You said you were choosing the pickpocket, but that is most certainly a lie, as revealed by that which you hold in your hand.
So, by Mr. Sholmes's reasoning, Mr. Benedict came here in order to apply for a job so he could dig down through the floor. Yes, in an attempt to tunnel into the sewer. Oh, I'm so sorry. In an attempt to tunnel into the sewers to gain access to the money in the vault of the bank across the road. But he wouldn't get very far with a broken shovel, would he? No, I think it's fair to... No, I think it's fair to say his motives lie elsewhere. The question is, where? What did bring Mr. Benedict here at this particular point in time? Oops, I was muted. Let's go back. Let's just go back a little bit. The question is where? What did bring Mr. Benedict here at this particular point in time? It's a proper English gentleman's cane, isn't it? Look at the beautifully polished blast on the handle. Yes, but Mr. Sholmes is right. It's not the sort of handle you usually see on a cane. Perhaps it's just the latest London fashion. I mean, that's just guesswork, of course. Perhaps you could adopt a cane, Mr. Naruhodo? It might rather suit you. I have a feeling it might argue with the sword around my waist. Now we look at the flyer. It certainly is a flyer for Mr. Windybank's shop. Let's see. Windybank wants you! Pawnbroker's assistant required. It's an eye-catching advertisement, that's sure. I've seen the same flyer up here inside the shop, I think. Perhaps Mr. Windybank is always in need of more staff. So Mr. Benedict came here to apply for a job? It's just too hard to believe. Clearly there's going to be something on the back, obviously. Scribbled writing. Oh? Look at all the scribbled notes in the back of the flyer here. I don't believe it. What is it? Listen to what it says. Name, Gina Lestrade. Height, 5'2". Green cap, scuffy waistcoat, grubby white shirt, blue satchel, wagon. That's a detailed description of her. Goodness. There's even a sketch of her hat and all. Although if you showed it to her, she'd fire that smoke grenade launcher in his face for sure. And look, the details of the shop has been written down here too. Windybank's Pawnbrokery, Baker Street, redemption deadline 15th of April, which is today's date. Why would Mr. Benedict have all that information scrawled on the back of that piece of paper? Clearly, this is the information we look.
Take that!
Take that! His voice is like very more take that than I expected. I didn't think it was gonna be like that. Like, I don't know. I didn't expect it. Yes, what brought you to the shop in the first place is the info about Miss Lestrade. Quite so, my dear fellow. It would appear that the writing and sketch on the reverse of the flyer pertain to the pickpocket, Miss Lestrade, and to Mr. Windybank's pawnbrokery here. Ah! You originally told us that you had merely given chase after Miss Lestrade stole the redemption ticket from you. But that, sir, is a thinly veiled lie. It is the information on the back of the flyer that led you here today, by which I mean here to Windybank's Pawnbrokery, and today the redemption deadline of that overcoat. So, you waited outside for the young girl matching the description you've written down to arrive.
And you have gone to some lengths to hide the reason for your pursuit of Miss Lestrade. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane which you unwittingly clutched to your person exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. What utter what? I've had this cane for years. The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the missing ferrule.
No, it's the insignia. What's a ferrule? It's the metal cap on the end of the cane, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah, the bit that makes the nice clacking sound on the pavement? That's good stuff. Yes, exactly. And Mr. Sholmes is right. It appears to be missing on this cane.
But it doesn't actually look broken, does it?
No, it does not. Though the gentleman certainly did recoil when Mr. Sholmes identified the cane as sus.
In other words, there's some secret about the cane that Mr. Benedict would rather we don't know.
Initialing?
Look here, Miss Suzato. There's some letters on the handle.
Ah, yes. Those must be initials, I think. In the West, it's customary for people to engrave their belongings with the first letter of their names.
So... Sherlock Sholmes would be HS, you mean?
That's right. And the initials on this cane, obviously. Oh.
AG?
Why does it feel as though that's not quite right? Of course, here, the initialing.
Take that!
Take that!
The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the initialing. A most astute observation, wouldn't you say, Mr. Eggert Benedict? We are led to believe, sir, that your initials are EB. Yet in a most possessive manner, you have in your grasp a cane bearing the initials AG. An uncontrovertible contradiction indeed, would you not agree? No, you're wrong. This cane isn't... You said before that you had that cane for years. So don't try to tell us that you just borrowed it from a friend or found it in the park. In short, though you hold yourself to be a gentleman, you have withheld your true name. You recoil, sir. Is something wrong? In your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer of your next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind the rod that you bear? The handle which you concealed is the key to understanding your apprehension. Hold on a moment. Let's consider the bare bones of what's happened here. Miss Lestrade did redeem that fine-looking overcoat, and now a mysterious man has appeared, introducing himself with a fake name, and claiming that the overcoat belongs to him.
But we know that he actually identified Miss Lestrade from a written description, which suggests that everything else he's told us is untrue.
So what we need to do here is somehow prove that the overcoat cannot possibly belong to him. I heard it rip just now.
Oh, the seam on the shoulder there is coming apart, look!
So it is.
Do you know, a moment ago when Mr. Bennet was surprised at something that was said, I thought I heard him make a rather strange noise. It sounded a bit like a tiny growl.
No, that sounds like fabric ripping.
Now I think it was probably the sound of a seam ripping open.
Look closely, it does seem to be a very tight fit. The sleeves are stretched to bursting, they wouldn't have a hope of fastening it at the front. If you were to run around in it, I'm sure the whole thing would fall apart.
That I'd like to see.
Sorry?
So, how can we make Mr. Benedict run around?
She's really given this some thought.
The split seam.
Take that!
Take that!
Split seam is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. Yes, because the overcoat is rather obviously a poor fit. Having forced it over your broad shoulders, the seam is already breaking apart. Suspicions were aroused from the outset. when you've so baldly lied about your name and so boldly waylaid this pickpocket. This catalogue of untruths has all been for one very specific purpose. To steal the article that the young girl redeemed from Mr. Windybank.
Haha, you fell for it. Thundercross split attack.
But what really irks me is this. The considerable crime I initially imagined has been considerably curtailed.
Abscond with a redeemed item. Solved. Topic 2, the great crime.
Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue to discuss the details of the crime.
You suggest that our gentleman designed a ways to filch some tawdry article of carnage?
Have you forgotten that I redeemed the article in the proper manner using the watchword? Had I not been the one to deposit it in the first place, how could I possibly have known the relevant details? N'est-ce pas? Oh, but the watchword can be discovered. As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict.
Yay, you can.
Oh, and your furtive lens is more telling than I could have hoped. What? Let us consider how one might come to learn a secret watchword relating to the pawned property of another. The method is revealed by the council notice on the counter to which your eyes were neatly drawn.
No, it's just the ledger. Stop being dumb. Why are you like this, Holmes? The direction of the deduction must now change rather dramatically, I think.
Yeah, no more talk of tunneling into the sewers. Which is a pity because it sounded pretty exciting. Anyway, can't deny that this mysterious gentleman did know the watchword.
Yes, Professor. If you didn't know that word, Mr. Windybank would never allow you to redeem the article.
Or, looking at it another way, if you did know that word, Mr. Windybank would allow you to redeem the article whether it was yours or not. So the question is, how could he find out the watchword?
Notelet.
Look at this, Mr. Zato.
Ah, it appears to be a memo that Mr. Windybank has scribbled to himself. Let's see, what does it say? Oh, Professor!
Mr. Windybank must make a note of the watchwords his customers give him right before their eyes. And in an alarmingly clear script as well.
Oh dear, I don't know where to look. Who knows what other secrets I might see?
I'm curious just by examining them. I just want to know what he says. I don't want to know what he says about the revolver. This is Mr. Windybank's gun.
Yes, load it with only one bullet, he said. It would appear that being a pawnbroker is a very life-or-death profession.
That might just be this particular establishment.
Oh, okay.
No, take that!
The method is revealed by the note lid on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. Yes, the broker here follows the same procedure whenever a customer comes to redeem an article. He asks the customers for the watchword and notes down the response uttered on the note lid he has to hand. Then he consults his ledger and confirms whether or not the watchword matches that of the article in question. I would expect nothing less of a diligent pawnbroker. But his diligence clearly has its disadvantages. What are you talking about? It is increasingly apparent that you were present in the shop before your accusation against Miss Lestrade. In all likelihood, you followed her inside and then observed her talking to Mr. Windybank. When the diligent broker made a note of the watchword, as is his common practice, you observed him writing the word Professor on the notelet beside the ledger. And that, sir, was the master plan you devised to steal the pawned article from the young Miss Lestrade. master plan. Which brings us to the final chapter of this scheme. Why would you go to such lengths to redeem that particular article from this pawnbroker? Are you quite serious? For an ill-fitting overcoat hardly seems to justify the effort, much less a worthless music box disc. But naturally, you had very good reason to make them yours, didn't you, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea what you're talking about. Let us look at the evidence. The articles we're talking about are the overcoat and the music box disc that were in one of the pockets, which, according to Mr. Windibank, isn't even worth a penny. And yet this man went to such lengths to steal them. Why? I wonder if perhaps we already have the evidence we need to explain it, Mr. Naruhodo. Could we? Really? Better have a thorough look at all the evidence we've collected so far. I mean, Yes, it was my armband. You came into this shop to steal my armband! You know what? I'm gonna save. And then present my armband. Because why not? I just want to see what happens. If there's a special, like, scene. Take that! Take that! Armband! What spectacularly contrived logic led you to this conclusion? Oh, well, it's supposed to be logic and reasoning spectacular, so I thought I'd contribute to the show. This is my show, Mr. Naruhodo. Kindly perform any peculiar experiments on your own stage.
Sorry.
This man has used some fairly high-handed measures to try and get his hand on the overcoat disc.
He certainly doesn't want for their monetary value either. Still, there must be a value somehow to someone.
It's the last piece of the puzzle.
Okay, I just wanted to see if there's going to be like a special divergence or anything fun like that. Apparently not. Oh! For McGilded! Oh, there's a little scrap of paper stuck onto the reverse side of the disc, look! And a scribbled word or two. It looks like somebody's name. For McGilded? McGilded? It couldn't be! But it is, Mr. Naruhodo. A name I shall never forget for as long as I live. But why? Why is his name on this? The music box disc's information has been updated in the court record. Hoi!
Take that!
Take that!
You see, this music box disc tells us all we need to know. What's that on the back? It reads for McGill. Ah, Mr. Magnus McGilded. The unfortunate philanthropist who perished in curious circumstances at the Old Bailey 2 months ago. A prominent man in London, through his loan-mongering, demonstrated a distinct lack of scruples. So you're an associate of his, are you? Or perhaps a subordinate? Mr. McGilded was a man of unusually small stature. In fact, he was precisely the right size for that overcoat that you've squeezed yourself into. Your true identity remains shrouded in mystery, Mr. Egbert Benedict. But the final conclusion here is crystal clear. Crystal clear. The reason you came to this pawnbrokery today? Was to retrieve an article left behind by the late Magnus McGilded. Thundercross split attacker!
An item deposited by Mr. McGilded. Both topics have been solved. Elementary deduction complete.
That reminds me, I forgot to take the chance to present my, what do you call it, armband. Well, well, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear in these circumstances.
Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid there's something very troubling on my mind.
Pray tell, Mrs. Otto.
Well, according to what Mr. Windybank told us earlier, today was the final day on which the coat could have been redeemed, was it not?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. Today will be precisely 2 months since it was first deposited.
Well, today is the 15th of April, so 2 months ago today.
Would have been the 15th of February, sir. That's right. It's all carefully recorded in my ledger. Deposited at 10:30 p.m., I see.
What? But that suggests... Yes, 15th of February is precisely the day on which the omnibus murder took place. And 10:30 in the evening is precisely the time at which the terrible events were unfolding. I mixed up the voices, but that's fine.
Suggestive is not the word. It would seem the matter is entirely beyond coincidence. You are, of course, at liberty to make whatever outlandish deductions you choose. However, I must insist you hand over the music box disc now.
Pulls a gun on us, wow.
It will be a terrible shame for you to return to your native land in a box.
Gah. What do I do? I didn't see that coming. You can shoot me at any moment. Hate to give in, but what other choice do you really have here?
Hold it! Mr. Windybank! This is my shop. I can't allow any harm to come to my customers. If that were to happen, I should have to take my own life.
Mr. Windybank, no! Alright, that's enough. Inspector Gregson! Oh, thank goodness.
Inspector? That's right, Sunshine. The alarm was raised on one of our dedicated emergency lines. So we got here as fast as we could. Now what's all this about, eh? Oh, praise be, you're here at last. I was moments away from forfeiting my own life in my very own establishment. It seems you have the upper hand. What, you lot have got some explaining to do. I don't appreciate being bothered with some petty argy-bargy.
Petty? Mr. Windybank very nearly met with his end.
Yeah, by his own gun as far as I can tell. Oh dear, oh dear. And the whole of Britain couldn't wait with its end if I don't get to the bottom of the case I'm supposed to be working on.
What? What on earth is the case, Inspector?
Spare no detail, Gregson. I am interested. Oh, I might have said a little too much. No matter, there's nothing to do with you lot. Anyway, sir, you're gonna have to come with me down to the station. But of course, Inspector.
He's getting away!
Get after him, lads! We see the beat officer too!
Sir!
There's been a spate of thefts at pawn shops around here recently. So we fitted emergency buttons underneath the counters for brokers to let us know when there's trouble. Oh, Inspector, I was very worried there for a while. Very, very worried indeed. Now then, Mr. Permanently in mourning.
Oh, yes?
I'll be taking out whatever it is and might get it down to the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over.
Oh, yes, of course. No, don't give it to him. It's mine, that is, mine.
I'm sorry, miss. For anything belonging to McGill it has to be taken as evidence now.
As evidence?
police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate. It's all yours, Inspector.
And so we handed Mr. McGill the discs over to Inspector Gregson, and was summarily turfed out of the shop and onto the street. To be continued. We'll save our current progress. Oh wait, I meant to not save. I wanted to present to people. I wanted to share my armband. I guess I'll have time later. 15th of April, Baker Street. See? That's why I like grown-ups. All they do is feed you a pack of laws and then take your stuff away from you.
Oh, really, Miss Lestrade? Tell me, is that overcoat keeping you warm?
What? Oh my! Surely you were given that. Yeah, they let me keep it after I looked daggers at him for long enough. He went through the pockets and then said, "Go on then, have it," before telling me to scupper. Always pays off giving people a look like you ate them.
I can't help feeling that it's going to get you into serious trouble one day.
What I really wanted was that nice shiny disc, mind. The music box disc? But Mr. Windybank said it was practically worthless. I think I'm gonna go have another bash. Give him a long hard stick.
I think not, Miss Lestrade. We shan't enter Windybanks again today.
Why not? That's not fair.
Can't be helped, I'm afraid. The police are investigating the scene now and taking a statement from Mr. Windybank.
But that disc's mine. I had the ticket for his coat and it was in his coat's pocket. And there should be something else and all. That's what that Rock and Cove said, ain't it?
Yes, he did mention something about another article, didn't he?
Well, then that's mine too. Whatever it is.
Now she's really pushing her luck.
Oh no, hold on. I'm trying to fix. Okay, this should be a little bit better, voice-wise. Cool.
Miss Lestrade, I think it's time to admit defeat. You've had your haul for the day.
Yeah, and that's all your fault, Sholmes.
So, what are your plans now? Will you dine with us this evening?
Yeah?
Iris would be delighted to cook, I'm sure, and I might entertain you with a modest violin recital.
No, Ta.
Oh.
Why would I come round your place, eh? Are you lost your hair or something? And away she runs. Oh dear, she's gone.
Having reviled on me quite unnecessarily, I might add.
I can't help wondering. Perhaps she might turn up anyway.
Interesting.
Once she's had a chance to calm down, I think there's a good chance she'll decide to come.
Very well, then. I'll inform Iris to set a place for our potential guests at the dinner table this evening. And one more thing. I should be glad of your company till later, too.
Sorry?
I believe I will have a rather splendid surprise to show you.
Oh, how exciting! What is it?
You shall have to wait and see, Mrs. Artell. Until later, then.
Oh, let's go. Give me a sec, taking a drink. I have decaf tea for streaming. It's great. 15th of April at 3:46 p.m. Sholmes' suite.
Ah, Susie and Rono, come in, come in.
Good afternoon, Iris.
Thank you so much for breakfast this morning. Oh, don't mention it. Goodness, look at the time already.
Busy as always.
I am. I'm preparing everything for dinner this evening.
Already? You're obviously cooking something special, are you?
Oh yes, after all, we have a special guest joining us. Guess who it is? Go on. You'll never guess.
Prosecutor Baron von Zeeks. Look at those little eyes of hers shining. Oh dear, it is awkward when you already know the answer, isn't it?
It's Ginny. Isn't that exciting?
Oh, what a surprise!
Yes, that's wonderful news.
Oh, Iris seems overjoyed at the idea.
I can't wait to learn some pickpocketing tips from a real professional.
Oh yeah, that does sound like fun. I'm not sure that's entirely appropriate. Are you, Mr. Naruhodo? By the way, Iris, what's Sholmes up to?
Deflection.
Hurley?
Oh, he's been like that ever since he got back.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
I beg that you won't speak to me.
Sorry?
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. But kindly take your leave. I will not pursue you. I will not look for you. But I have a very particular set of skills honed over a long career. If you don't leave, I will stand up. I will face you. And I will kill you. As you can see, I'm not here.
As you can see, I'm not here. I don't know how to respond to that.
I do apologize. When he gets like this, he's completely oblivious to everything.
Yes, I
See? Really, he behaves just like a child sometimes, Hurley does.
Mr. Sholmes and Iris have something of a parent and child relationship, don't they? Yes, except that Iris is clearly the parent here. Come to think of it, I wonder where her real parents are.
What's the matter, Runo? You have ever such a funny look on your face.
Oh, no, it's nothing.
I know what it is. Why does this girl live here with Mr. Sholmes? You're wondering, am I right?
How? How did you...
Oh, Runo, I can read you like a book. Ugh. This girl is so dangerous, that girl. Don't worry, you can ask me anything. I don't mind.
First, observe my armband. Would you mind if I showed you this, Iris? It's just a boring old thing, really, but...
Oh, I don't really like boring things.
My heart. Looks like Japanese modesty is easily misinterpreted by young Western children.
I mean, who does like boring things? No one wants to be shown something boring. Come to think of it, you're always introducing things with, this is boring, but it's a bad habit. You should stop it.
I'll be sure to let the entire population of the Empire of Japan know on my return.
Emotional damage, paint pack. So, Ginny.
So by Ginny you mean Miss Lestrade, the young woman from the McGilda case 2 months ago, right?
Emotional, damn it!
Exactly. Yes, who also stole my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Although, after that trial I invited her back here and we had dinner together. And now we're the best of friends. We're besties. Oh, what a lovely tale. Now, if I bump into her on the street, she runs away as fast as she can. Oh. And I chase after her down the back alleys. Interesting idea of friendship. And then I let her have the latest color of smoke grenade I've developed. Oh? There's so many beautiful colors in the world. Ginny wants me to make a whole rainbow. I suppose this means you've let Miss Lestrade keep the smoke grenade launcher, have you? Well, yes, that's right. I'd got bored of it anyway. Hurley always reacts the same way when I shoot him with it now. Poor Hurley. Ooh, I can't wait for Ginny to arrive. It's been too long since she last came over. I'm so excited. Just hope she actually does come. What about living with Sholmes? I'm sure you've been wondering why it is that I live here with Hurley, haven't you? Well, it's crossed my mind. That and where are your real parents? My mommy and daddy aren't with me anymore. Oof. It looks weird seeing Alec. Iris not smiling. Mommy passed away when I was born. At around the same time my father. Well, he had to go to a faraway land because of one of the cases he and Hurley were working on. Oh. Wait a minute. Did you say he and Hurley? Yes, Daddy and Hurley were always solving mysterious cases together. She didn't mention that before. He wrote them all up in his diaries. That's what's in the metal chest over there. Really? He recorded them all? So, you mean it's true? Mr. Sholmes really did have a partner with whom he tackled some of his most taxing cases? Oh yes, I mean, it's always nice to have one, isn't it? So Mr. Sholmes' partner was your father? Exactly. Hurley told me I wasn't allowed to look in the chest, but that only made me want to look even more, so I opened it up. And found your father's memoirs. So I asked Hurley, who wrote these? He nearly fell off his chair. But then he told me. That's when I found out that the author of those accounts was my father. So Iris's father was Mr. Sholmes' partner. I've practically lived with Hurley all my life. I was tiny when he took me in. So it came as quite a shock. When Hurley told me he wasn't really my daddy, I mean... It must have. I wonder why Mr. Sholmes chose to tell you, and at such a young age. Hurley says it's because he wouldn't have been able to hide it from me. Oh? Well, having lived with Hurley all these years, you might say that his ways have rubbed off on me. There's some things I can just see. Especially lies. I almost always know when people are lying before they open their mouths sometimes. Right. Anyway, I was so fascinated when I read Daddy's diaries. That's what inspired me to write The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, actually. I'd always assumed Mr. Sholmes simply told you all those thrilling stories. Oh no, Hurley's hopeless like that. He forgets everything. As soon as he's solved a case, it all but vanishes from his mind. Oh, I see. The other day it was so embarrassing. As usual, he totally forgot about the case he'd just solved. So the very next day he gathered together all the people involved and proceeded to solve the case again. It was quite a shock for everyone.
You can say that again. That is certainly special.
You share your father's surname, don't you, Iris?
That's right, Wilson. Daddy is Dr. John H. Wilson. I learned from Mr. Iris that he's a doctor of medicine, you see. That's what prompted me to study and study so that I could earn a doctorate as well.
Iris's father, who went to some distant land, is a doctor by the name of John H. Wilson. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case.
Victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Oh, Pain Peckle! Pain Peckle! Poor Iris. Oh no. I didn't connect the dots until now. Visiting professor of medicine at Imperial Yume University. The man who in the most bizarre of circumstances lost his life just before we left Japan. Miss Susato? Yeah? Perhaps we shouldn't pursue this conversation any further at this time. I think that would be for the best.
Ah, my dear fellows, how good to see you!
Immediate mood whiplash.
Mr. Schultz? Why ever did you not make your presence known to me before? Well, no matter now. So, how the devil are you?
We've been with you for most of the day.
Goodness, really?
Do tell me, Mr. Sholmes, is your violin unscathed?
My violin? What are you talking about, dear madam?
Oh,
Never mind that now. I have something far more interesting to show you. Behold, my dear fellows!
oh, another music box disc.
No, not another disc, Miss Susato. This is the one Gregson demanded we hand over as evidence, Mr. McGilded's disc.
Oh my!
Then, what's it doing here?
Excellent question.
You know, at times, Mr. Naruhodo, I think that though I may have an undeniable turn for detection, I may be even more adept at larceny.
Ooh, that would be wonderfully exciting. I'd be your pickpocketing assistant. And Bruno could be our go-to lawyer if we ever got caught.
Right.
Plus, Susie has such beautiful handwriting, she could write all our missing crime notifications. Yes, I'd be delighted.
I'm just gonna pretend this conversation never happened, I think. I'm just gonna go home. Gonna relax. Gonna pretend nothing ever happened. You never saw me. I was never here.
A-okay.
Sholmes, look at my armband, please.
I must stop you there, Mr. Naruhodo. Unofficial I may be, but I'm nevertheless a professional. I can examine such a humdrum item. For anything less than £5. Oh, no, I didn't really want you to examine it. I just wanted to ask if, my dear fellow, as a professional consulting detective, I couldn't possibly venture an opinion for anything less than £5. You're gonna have to offer me $3.50 on top of that.
Are you perhaps hoping to purchase a new telescope in the near future, Mr. Sholmes?
Indeed I am. As you know, it's long been an ambition of mine to discover a new star and name it for myself.
Because your earthly stardom isn't enough. Okay, I think this is a good point to potentially hold on, because we now have an exciting point to come back to. Why is it that this disc is here? I mean, well, we know why it's here. It was stolen, but in terms of what was done with it.
So I know Critical was super kind and gave out a few.
So I will stop streaming here for
so
now.
I don't
I will
remember who
instead
got
use
them,
this time to go
so
raid.
There's a possible chance you might not get an
Alright, so thank you very much for watching with me.
Yes.
And
Do you see the moon beside the
I'm
name?
gonna go ahead and start a raid now.
Do I see what?
The moon beside the name.
And then her
No.
name is Cheese.
For Mari Bear? Look beside Mari Bear's name.
Sorry.
Okay.
What if
Thank you, Yuya.
I just don't remember. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, this streamer, every time.
I just don't even remember what my
Alright, raid time. Wait,
Now.